How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. We've got some seriously spooky video clips coming up today, so hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this. This unnerving post titled Haunting Entity comes from Reddit user SevereTel2254, who shared their escalating experiences of what they believe to be a haunting inside their home. It began with lights turning on and off repeatedly, never flickering, but switching fully as if by an unseen hand. Then came objects falling off cupboards, the same item each time, and a growing sense of presence accompanied by cold drafts despite closed doors and windows. While travelling to Canada to visit their fiancée, the user's partner noticed strange behaviour while they slept. Eyes wide open, whispering in what sounded like another language, then immediately snoring when confronted. When they returned home, the activity intensified. Knocking sounds echoed from the back door and footsteps crept through the hallway late at night. 3 days before posting, the user was walking to the restroom when they saw what they described as a shadowy figure standing near the hallway. They snapped a photo. Later, increasing the exposure, what emerged shocked them. A dark silhouette resembling a woman's figure. In daylight photos shared later, the hallway is brightly lit. The OP confirmed that the door was indeed closed at the time of the photo, leaving many commenters baffled. Adding to the fear, the user reported waking up with deep scratches across their body the next morning, marks that bled and lasted all day. They've since been praying for protection, asking the community whether the entity could be an illusion or something more sinister. Whatever the case, the photo and its accompanying story have left thousands of viewers deeply unsettled. This eerie story comes from a bus driver named Junio Silva, who recounted a chilling night shift experience. Silva has worked the same early morning route for over 3 years. With nearly all of his passengers being familiar faces, seeing a stranger aboard is rare. One night, after his final passenger got off around 3 AM, Silva parked his bus, turned off the lights and went to grab a quick snack. When he returned to the empty vehicle and started driving back to the station, something caught his eye.
Madruga é o que liga. Aí eu vou perguntar para vocês. Só eu que tô vendo?
A person sticking their head out of one of the windows.
Só eu que tô vendo? Hã? Só eu que tô vendo?
Startled, Silva flicked on the interior lights, but the bus was completely empty. Despite that, the reflection in the glass still showed a shape, a head peering out as though someone was still there. He continued driving, even stopping to pick up 3 regular employees. When they reached the station, all 3 got off. Silva double-checked the bus row by row. No one was there. To this day, he has no explanation for the phantom passenger he filmed that night.
Ninguém.
By now, I'm sure you all know what the Mandela effect is. We've covered it plenty of times on this channel.
Some weird stuff going on here with this name, the stain bears. Oh, look at that. That is changing.
For those who might not be familiar, it refers to when large groups of people remember the same detail or event differently from how it's recorded in reality. It's named after Nelson Mandela because many people falsely recalled him dying in prison during the 1980s, decades before his real passing in 2013. Since then, examples like the Berenstain Bears versus Berenstein, fruit of the loom's missing cornucopia, and the supposed 90s movie Shazam starring Sinbad have become staples of the phenomenon. Well, now a TikToker by the username TheConspiracyBarber01 claims to have physical proof that some of these alternate memories are real.
And what I'm about to show you, I'm gonna go into my safe here and show you a couple Mandela effects that have been, I'm now gonna come out and show them to the world, so look at what I got here.
In a video that's gone viral, he opens a large safe and begins pulling out 3 supposedly original items. A Berenstain Bears book spelled with an E instead of an A.
Berenstain Bears. Berenstein. It's an actual book. I also have
a VHS tape of Shazam, the movie that supposedly never existed. And a pair of Fruit of the Loom sweatpants with the famous cornucopia logo, the very design the company insists was never part of their branding.
If you guys can see the cornucopia, see the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom tag?
He insists these are real, unaltered artifacts, items that somehow crossed over from an alternate timeline.
I'm proving all the Mandela effects wrong, right? However you want to take it. I'm proving the Mandela theory.
Naturally, skeptics were quick to accuse him of fabricating the evidence. Some claimed the book was fake, printed recently with altered lettering, or that the tag on the sweatpants had been sewn on.
See the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom tag?
But in a follow-up video, the creator defends himself, showing the book up close.
It's got like a heavy vinyl. Yeah, the corners are a little popped up, but it's an actual book.
Pointing out the thick vinyl cover, the visible staples on the spine, and wear around the corners.
I mean, I don't know how to get it through, you guys. You got the staples in there. You can see the staples, spine of the book. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's not a bullshit book, it's an actual book.
So what's really going on here? Is this all an elaborate hoax designed to cash in on viral curiosity? Or is this man truly safeguarding proof that our reality might not be as fixed as we think? Either way, the video has reignited debate over one of the internet's most haunting modern mysteries, the Mandela effect.
See the cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom tag? So Fruit of the Loom denies ever having a cornucopia on their sweatpants.
Sticking with the Mandela effect, this next one has honestly left my brain bruised, because I distinctly remember this one myself. It's called the Dolly Mandela effect, and it's one of the most famous false memories tied to the 1979 James Bond film Moonraker. It centers around a sweet, short-lived character named Dolly, the girlfriend of Jaws, the towering metal-toothed villain played by Richard Kiel. Now here's where things get weird. Many people, myself included, remember Dolly having metal braces on her teeth. It's a small detail, but an important one. When Jaws first meets Dolly, she smiles up at him, he smiles back, and for a split second we see this adorable moment of connection, both of them revealing metal mouths. That's the supposed joke of the scene, but in every version of the movie available today, from VHS to Blu-ray, Dolly has no braces at all. Nothing. Her teeth are perfectly normal. So what happened? Was it just bad memory, or did something actually change? Those who swear the braces were real argue that the scene doesn't even make sense without them. Why else would Jaws, a man with metal teeth, fall instantly for a random blonde woman with glasses and pigtails? Some point to old reviews and articles that mention her braces, even one from 1979 that said she had as much hardware in her mouth as he does. Others believe the scene was edited later, with the braces digitally removed to avoid giving the character a more childlike appearance. But skeptics have plenty to say too. The actress, Blanche Ravellès, has gone on record saying she never wore braces during filming. And another review from that same year joked that their romance would be made in heaven if only she wore braces, implying the gag never existed in the first place. Psychologists explain this as a schema-consistent error, meaning our brains filled in the most logical detail for the moment, in this case matching Metal's smiles. Even more confusing, some say memories may have been influenced by an old commercial featuring Richard Keel with a woman who did wear braces, causing a mix-up in people's minds over time. So, did Dolly ever have braces? Physically speaking, no. There's zero evidence of them in any known release. But for millions who remember those braces shining on the big screen, that simple, sparkling smile remains one of the strangest and most persistent Mandela effects of all time. Hey peeps, just a quick reminder to check out our Slapped Ham Mysteries channel. This is our second channel. This is where we do paranormal deep dives on specific cases, one at a time per episode. We also do a little bit of true crime. There's a whole bunch of wacky and weird cases. We do one episode per week. So if you want more in-depth single story narrative cases, then head on over, check out our Slapped Ham Mysteries channel. We'll put a link in the description box down below there. It's also pinned in the comments. This next clip was captured in Bratislava, Slovakia on September 19th, 2025 between 7:18 and 7:45 p.m. And it's left a lot of people baffled. The footage shared by UAP over Poland on Facebook shows a cluster of unidentified aerial phenomena moving slowly across the evening sky. At first, you can see the strange formation rising vertically, then shifting in what looks like a coordinated pattern, almost as if the lights are connected or moving in sync. What's even more intriguing is that the video switches to thermal imaging, revealing that these objects are giving off heat signatures as they drift silently above the horizon. There's no sound, no contrail, and no clear explanation for what they are.
Thanks.
The video was reportedly shot using a Nikon P1000 along with a Hick microthermal imaging camera, and while some skeptics online suggested the lights could be birds or balloons, others say their movement and the heat output seen on thermal rule out anything conventional. So what exactly was caught over Bratislava that night? Swarming drones, secret military craft, or something else entirely? We covered this story a few weeks ago, but now it's getting even stranger. In early July 2025, astronomers detected 3I Atlas, the third ever confirmed interstellar object to visit our solar system. Like Oumuamua and 2I/Borisov before it, this mysterious visitor came from another star system, traveling at breathtaking speed, about 137,000 miles per hour, which is around 221,000 kilometers per hour. Before slingshotting around our sun on a one-way trip back into deep space. At first, it appeared to be a fairly typical comet, icy, dusty, and venting gas as it warmed up. But as it neared its closest point to the sun in late October 2025, 3I Atlas suddenly brightened, turned distinctly bluer, and began exhibiting non-gravitational acceleration, meaning something besides the sun's gravity was pushing it. NASA engineer Davide Farnocchia confirmed that this acceleration was real, while Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb proposed a natural explanation. The comet could be losing as much as 1/10 of its total mass in a single month, blasting out massive plumes of gas and dust that act like rocket thrust. This could also explain the sudden brightening and colour shift. Still, Loeb, who has previously suggested the object might be an alien probe, hasn't ruled out a more extraordinary idea. He speculates the acceleration could, in theory, be the technological signature of an internal engine, and that the object's blue hue, when it should be redder, could come from a hot artificial light source or some kind of engine glow. However, he concedes the explanation could also be completely natural, caused by an unusual mix of chemicals in the comet's composition. 3I Atlas has already defied expectations with its bizarre chemistry high in nickel and carbon, massive size, potentially up to 5.6 kilometers wide, and odd tail behavior, at one point even showing an anti-tail that appeared to point toward the sun. After looping behind the sun, it re-emerged glowing brighter and more intensely blue than before, prompting even more speculation. And the controversy doesn't end there. Loeb has been pressing for new data from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which supposedly photographed the comet during its October 3rd flyby. But a US government shutdown has stalled the release of those images. NASA insists the delay is procedural, not suspicious, while Loeb says, "We will continue to push for answers." Whether 3I Atlas is simply a hyperactive comet shedding material faster than anything we've seen, or something far more advanced, remains unclear. But one thing is certain, this interstellar visitor isn't just passing through quietly. Rising nearly 900 feet above the plains of Wyoming, Devil's Tower, or Mateo Tepe Bear Lodge, is one of the most recognizable landmarks in the US, revered by native tribes and mythologized in modern culture. Scientifically, Devil's Tower is a volcanic neck, or laccolith, formed when magma cooled underground millions of years ago. Erosion later exposed its dramatic columnar joints, natural fractures that give it a tree-like appearance. The rock, phonolite porphyry, is purely igneous, not petrified wood. The National Park Service and geologists have repeatedly debunked claims that the tower is a giant petrified tree stump, explaining that petrified wood is formed through mineral replacement, not cooling magma. Despite clear science, online conspiracies insist the tower is a colossal tree from a prehistoric world. Viral posts even allege that the state discovered a 4-mile deep root system, a claim traced back to a satirical Wyoming newspaper. One TikToker even claims to have scanned inside the structure.
Directly at Devil's Tower, and this is the imagery it gave back. There are chambers inside the base of the Devil's Tower you can see a passageway right there.
Showing a large hollow system.
And it's just insane. It's blowing our minds. We don't know if this is a Native American chamber, if it's an alien chamber.
Still, scientists confirm no organic material or tree structure has ever been found, calling the theory a mix of imagination and bad geology. For more than 20 Native American tribes, the tower is sacred. Legends from the Kiowa, Cheyenne, and Lakota describe its formation when children, pursued by a giant bear, were lifted to safety by the Great Spirit, the bear's claws forming the vertical grooves. The tower remains a ceremonial site today, with prayer bundles and a voluntary June climbing ban, honouring Indigenous traditions. Devil's Tower became world famous after Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which imagined it as an alien landing site. Following the film, reports of local UFO sightings increased, and its image became synonymous with extraterrestrial contact. Beyond the petrified tree idea, others claim the tower is a portal to another dimension, a piece of Yggdrasil, or even a fossilized giant's limb. While such ideas persist online, scientists and tribal communities emphasize its true importance, a rare geological wonder and a sacred place that continues to inspire both reverence and mystery. Coming up in our last segment, we take a look at a fascinating and freaky haunting from the 17th century Scotland. But before we shiver your timbers, remember to help us out by clicking that like button, leaving some comments below, and sharing this episode on your socials. In the spring of 1695, a quiet farmhouse in the parish of Rerrick near Auchencairn, Scotland, became the site of one of the most terrifying and well-documented hauntings in early modern Britain. Known variously as the Rerrick Poltergeist, the Ringcroft Poltergeist, or the Mackey Poltergeist, the events at the Ringcroft of Stocking plagued the family of Farmer Andrew Mackey for nearly 3 months. The haunting became so infamous that it drew the attention of Reverend Alexander Telfair, minister of Rerrick, who personally witnessed the phenomena and published an official account the following year. His 1696 pamphlet, A True Relation of an Apparition, Expressions and Actings of a Spirit, remains one of the earliest and most detailed poltergeist investigations on record. The disturbances began innocently enough in February 1695 with strange disruptions to Mackey's livestock. His cattle were found mysteriously unbound each morning, no matter how tightly he tied them. Then one beast was discovered suspended from a roof beam, bound so tightly by its hair tether that its hooves barely touched the floor. Soon the disturbances moved inside the house. Fires ignited spontaneously in the middle of the night, once nearly burning the family alive as a peat stack erupted into flame on the floor. Household items disappeared only to reappear days later in impossible places. Then the attacks grew personal. By early March, stones began flying inside the house, never from outside, and witnesses claimed they would strike people but fall softly to the ground, as though losing weight in mid-air. The Mackeys were struck repeatedly and even visiting ministers were assaulted. During prayers, invisible forces hurled stones, dragged people by their clothes, and struck them with unseen staves. Andrew Mackey himself was cut on the brow and had his hair violently pulled. The family's children were beaten in their beds, blankets torn away, and once a heavy block of wood was lifted above a sleeping child as a voice declared chillingly, "If I had a commission, I would brain them." As the activity escalated, the family sought help from the church. Reverend Telfair and several clergymen visited the Ringcroft repeatedly, and all claimed to experience the haunting firsthand. During one prayer session, Reverend Andrew Ewart was struck in the head, his wig torn off by invisible hands. Telfair himself reported feeling something grasp his arm. When he looked, he saw a little white hand and arm from the elbow down, which instantly disappeared. Then, on April 26th, the entity began to speak. It insulted the ministers as witches and rakes, told Andrew Mackey that it had a commission from God to warn the land to repent, and even demanded worship. "Praise me and I will whistle to you. Worship me and I will trouble you no more," it said, a blasphemous echo of demonic temptation. In one of the most disturbing turns, Andrew's wife reported feeling the ground shake near the doorway. When he lifted a loose stone there, the couple discovered 7 small bones and pieces of bloody flesh wrapped in paper. Not long after, a glowing red-hot stone was thrown onto the children's bed, burning through the blankets and too hot to touch for over an hour. Finally, on April 28th, the entity unleashed its full fury. It set fire to the Mackey home multiple times in a single day and tore down part of the stone wall itself, forcing the family to flee to their stables. The spirit whispered to Andrew one last time that the trouble would cease after Tuesday. True to its word, the phenomena stopped after one final fire destroyed the family's sheep house on May 1st. The Ringcroft was never rebuilt. Even today, locals point to the barren stretch of land where the farmhouse once stood, marked by a single gnarled, leafless tree. Even in the 17th century, the Rerrick Poltergeist divided opinion. At the time, several rumours circulated that Andrew Mackey, a stonemason, had taken a Masonic oath and pledged his first child to the devil, that he and his wife had kept clothing belonging to a deceased woman of ill repute, that a witch's curse lingered from a previous tenant who had buried a tooth under the threshold, a supposed charm of dark magic. Reverend Telfair rejected these superstitions but concluded the cause was unknown, affirming the haunting as evidence of genuine spiritual forces and divine warning. Modern skeptics, however, offer alternative explanations. Historian Sacheverell Sitwell in 1940 proposed that one of Mackey's children was responsible, using ventriloquism and trickery to mimic voices and throw stones, a theory that echoes modern analyses of poltergeist behavior, often linked to psychological stress in adolescence. Others suggest Telfair himself may have exaggerated the events to combat what he saw as rising atheism among his parishioners. The Ringcroft haunting remains one of the most thoroughly recorded early poltergeist cases in Europe. Whether a supernatural assault, an elaborate prank, or mass hysteria, it left a mark on Scottish folklore. In the centuries since, the Rerrick Poltergeist has been retold as a cautionary tale of faith, fear, and the fragile boundary between belief and skepticism. Today, the site is quiet, but as locals will tell you, nothing grows well there and no one stays long. Now, if you can't get enough of what we do here at Slapped Ham, then check out these two links here. They'll keep you entertained for hours and hours. Hit that thumbs up button there to help us in the algorithm. It really does help. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.